Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer Nxumalo. If you are new here, I welcome you. Welcome to the family. I hope that you enjoy it. And also please guys, do not forget to give this video a big thumbs up. That is if you enjoy my content. Whenever you are watching my videos and you like it, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up, because it is one of the most important way that you can show me support. You know, over and above subscribers, those likes do give me an indication that you guys are enjoying my content, and so please make sure that you do hit the thumbs up whenever you are watching my videos and you like them. So let us get straight to the point of this video. As you can see, I'm in the office. However, we're going to be talking about something that has nothing to do with my work, and we're going to be talking about my payday routine, and then we're going to just touch on a little bit on cash stuffing, and then I'll do the whole cash stuffing when I get home because I do not have time. So I made sure that I come to work very early so that I can have time to just film this part before I start working. So I officially start working at 8. However, I get to work, you know, around 7:15, 7:20, and that is for me enough time for me to just shoot this intro or to shoot this part of the video very quickly. So for people who watch my videos and who, you know, may know where I work and know where I work and all the stuff, I'm not shooting this during working hours. So with that being said, we are just gonna get straight to the point. So I'm going to be taking you guys through my payday routine because I haven't done one in a while. When it comes to my payday routine, guys, it's not really more so of like a routine that you do this and then after this you follow this, you do that and that. It's more so just making sure that I am on top of my things, I'm on top of my bills, I'm on top of my expenses, I pay things on time. That is the whole point of me having a routine, and I feel that it's very important that each and every person has one. So here I already have my budget. So I have my budget first thing in the morning today when I woke up. Actually, because I didn't exercise today, it's Wednesday and I'm taking a break, I actually woke up and I reflected on my budget, and then I looked at the things that I needed to prioritize first. So what do I do? So I think the first thing that I want us to just talk about, or I want to talk about, is what do I do when I say that, okay, it's payday routine. What does that mean? So basically it means, what do you do when you get paid? You know, when that money clocks in your account, what do you do? Now, for me, a budget is something that I do way before I get paid. So I do my budget beginning of the month, and that is 15 days before I get paid. So I would really advise you that when it comes to setting your budget, don't set your budget when you get paid. Set your budget, especially if you get pay slips. Once you know how much you're gonna get paid that month, set your budget. If you're a person that gets paid, you know, irregular salary, so you don't know how much you're gonna get paid this month, how much, because it's just, you know, inconsistent, I would advise that you actually look on the previous month, look at the previous 4 months. How has your salary been? How has your pay been? So if you're a person that is self-employed, that you work for yourself and your salary is not really structured, I would say that look at the previous 4 months and see how much have you been getting each and every month, and then from there plan. Because remember, when you are setting your budget, you have budgeted and then you have actual, and so there is room that in your actual it can be more or it can be less. There's really no fault there, but the most important thing is that you set a budget and you have an idea of what you are looking into on the day that you get paid. So for me, I set my budget way before, and so I already had my budget. I'm not one of those people that on the day I get paid I'm going to sit down and make a budget. No, because that's where you're actually going to end up doing mistakes or actually omitting things. Like, I'll give you an example. On my budget today, when I looked at it, I realized that there was one item that I did not include, and that is my Wi-Fi. So you see, it allowed me to actually be able to pick up those things, and then it was easy for me to just edit there, you know, because I did my budget way in advance. I know how it looks. I know typically how much money I'm left with, and so I knew that, okay, this is fine for me, and so I just edited that item. So what do I do when I get paid? Now that you know that, okay, don't do your budget on the day that you get paid. What I do when I get paid is I look at my transfers. So first thing is I have my main account, which is Capitec, but then I also have my FNB account. So those are my two main accounts. I have Time Bank. Time Bank I don't really use to transact. I just use to put money or to take out money, but I don't really use it a lot for transactions. So my main account is just Capitec and FNB. And before someone comes to me and say, why do you have two accounts? I do have two accounts. I prefer it that way. The day that I decide to have one, I don't know what will happen. I like, honestly, those two accounts, they serve a role, both of them. and I'm fine with them. Now with my FNB account, that's where most of my debit orders come out. So anything that has to do with my subscription, anything that has to do with my rates and levies, water and sanitation, all of those things, they come out of my FNB account. And mainly because I just like to make sure that for most of my EFT, most of my debit orders, they don't come out on my main account. The reason why is I just do that for protection. First is for protection, because you may never know when you get hacked. So at least I know that even if they were to hack that account, because as I said, I use this for subscription, I use this for my Apple subscription, I use this for my Epidemic Sound, I use it for all my subscription. And so if anything were to happen with those companies and I get to be affected by that, like in terms of being hacked, I know that they wouldn't find any money there. Even though with Capitec, there's really never any money there. But I just feel like I feel like FNB has more security, like when it comes to security, FNB is much better compared to my other bank, which I love as well. With that being said, what I'm saying here is, what I do is I make sure that I do my transfers. So I calculate all of them together. So I group them and I say, okay, what are the things that need to go off at FNB? And then I calculate all of them, and then I come at the total, and I do one EFT. I do my transfers once. I do my withdrawals once. So right now I've done my transfers. I did my transfers in the morning, and I did immediate transfer, and that is 7 rands extra that I get charged just because it is an immediate, over and above the basic charge. So it's not like I'm doing transfers like this, like one after the other. Like I've done all of my transfers that need to go to FNB. And so now what I'll do is I'll go into my FNB account and then make payments from there. And then what I do now is I go back to my budget, and then I look at the things that I have to pay for. So from my FNB account, that's where I can go to my FNB account, and then I'm going to pay for my water and electricity. I'm going to pay for my rates and levies. I'm going to pay for, and then the rest of the stuff normally, the rest of the stuff I don't really have to actively pay for. I'm trying to look. I don't have to actively pay for. They actually do debit orders. If I'm looking down, guys, I'm looking at my budget right here. So those things are things that debit order. But on the water and electricity rates and levies, those are things that have to go on the day that I get paid. They have to go on the day, because that is the due date for me to pay. And so I make sure that I pay those things. And then another thing that I do is on my payday is I also do my withdrawal. Now when it comes to my withdrawals, I'm talking about cash stuffing. If you do not know, in January I introduced cash stuffing when it comes to how I manage my money. And that was because I wanted to track my spending. I wanted to track what am I spending on, what am I spending on, and also see when I'm overspending or underspending. And so I implemented cash stuffing. So what I do is I calculate all the things that I know that I want cash for, and it's not a lot. If I can count for you, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 things that I normally need cash for, that I prefer to have cash for, so that I can be able to track them. And so what I do is I add all of those things up in terms of how much money I need for each, and then I withdraw the money. And so I just go in the ATM once, and then I withdraw all of that money. And so normally the charges that I get charged for that are based on how much I withdrew. And so to avoid getting charged a lot, what I do is I withdraw once. I don't go back to the bank over and over again. And that's also because I'm just not a fan of ATMs, but I want my cash, so I prefer to just withdraw everything at once. So those are the things that I do when I get paid. Let's go into why is it important that you have a payday routine. Why is it so important? Why is it something that I prioritize so much when it comes to how I manage my money? The reason why it is very important to have a payday routine, and why it's important for me to have a payday routine, is because I want to pay for things on time. I gave you an example of 2 bills that I have to make sure that I pay on the day that I get paid. So I'll give you one water and electricity. Water and electricity, I get my statement almost 10 days before I get paid, and on the statement most of the time the due date is on the 15th when I get paid. And so if I do not pay that on the day that I get paid. So if I don't pay it on the 15th, what happens is they go and shut my water. And for me to get my water reconnected again, I have to pay for 450 for them to open it, on top of the money that you had to pay for that month. And so that takes me out of my budget. And that has once happened to me. It once happened to me in December, and that was not because I was late to pay, but because they put a due date that was way earlier, because they know that people in December go home, and so they normally put a due date on the 8th. It was my first time. I did not pay attention to it. I thought that I still had time. And then they shut my water on the 14th when I got paid the following day. And so I had to reconnect my water again. And it was so frustrating that now I had to spend that 450 just to get connected. And so that for me taught me a lesson of paying things on time, making sure that the due date that is set on the invoices, that I actually meet them. Because if I don't, then I'm going to incur penalties. So for me, it's very important that I pay things on time. My hope is that after May, I can actually be ahead with my bills. If you remember, beginning of the year when I set my financial goals, I said that one of my goals is to be 1 month ahead when it comes to my living expenses. And so my goal is in May, I want to actually pay for my water and electricity up ahead. I want to also, before I get paid, before the due date, I also want to pay for my rates and levies before I get paid. That way, when I get paid, it's money that I can then channel for the next following month to make sure that I'm always on time. So the moment that invoice or that bill hits my account to say that you need to pay for this on this due date, I want to pay for it immediately and not wait to get paid. So that is my goal, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that, because for me, I don't like that I have to pay these things immediately when I get paid. Even though I do it, I don't mind, but I know that there could be a better option to be up ahead with my bills. So that is my goal when it comes to this. And then the second reason why it's important for me to have a payday routine is because I want to have peace of mind. Having peace of mind for me is the most important thing when it comes to my finances. I've been in a place whereby I've always been worried about my finances. Am I going to be able to pay this on time? Am I going to be able to pay for this? Do I even have enough money to pay for this? I've been there. I've lived that life to know that it's really not for me. And so what I do now is I make sure that I stick to my payday routine so that I can have peace of mind. So I know that normally people do not like to pay for things when they get paid. They want to see the money, just see the money sitting there for maybe a day or two, and then start making payments for things. I'm not about that. When the money hits my account on that day, things have to be paid. Things have to be paid. People have to get paid. People have to get their monies. Like, I do not want to sit with money when I know it's not mine. The moment I write it on my budget and I say, these are expenses and this is how much they're going to cost. These are my savings. This is how much it's going to be. This is my weekly allocation. This is how much it's going to be. That's no longer my money. The only money that I can say is mine is the ones for savings. That I can actually say, okay, fine, I can sit with this and just look at it. But it makes no sense, because even when I shift it wherever I shift it to, wherever, even if I put it on Frank, I put it on Time Bank, I put it on Easy Equities, it's still my money there. So if I want to see it, I can just log into that account and I can see the money growing, So I really do not like to sit with money in my account when I know it's not mine. As I said, once I've allocated it a name, once I've given it a name, once I've said this is water and electricity, this is my transport fees, this is for money for schools, this is money for this and that, I've already given it a name. That means that that money is no longer mine. The only money that I can say that is truly mine besides the savings is me. On my budget, on my line item, there's an item called me, because I decided that I need to start budgeting for me and prioritizing things for me, and so I have a line item called me. So that is my money. I can confidently sit with that one because that is my money. But the rest, it's not my money anymore. It belongs somewhere for something, for a certain purpose. And so that, for me, having a payday routine allows me to have peace of mind. And so I'm sharing this with you because I really think that when you can sit down and plan your finances and make sure that you have a payday routine, it's going to allow you to have structure in your finances. It's going to allow you to have peace of mind. And it's also going to allow you to make sure that you pay for things on time. and make peace with paying for things. I know people don't like to pay for their bills. They don't like to pay. They don't like it when things go off in their accounts. So let's say a car is taking, the bank is taking the money for the car, the home, the whatever, bank is taking money for the house, is taking this and that. People don't like that. It's like something wrong is happening. The moment you create a payday routine, you create a budget, you actually come to terms with the fact that these things, you have to pay for them. They have to go off in your account, because if they don't, then you are affecting your financial standing. For me, I never want that. Those are the two reasons as to why it is important for me to have a payday routine, and I'm hoping that this inspires you to also have a payday routine. Now, with that being said, I am going to take some time to make sure that I do my payments, because now I'm filming on my phone, and so I need to make sure that now I stop filming with my phone and make these payments, and then I'm going to start working.
Club will go all night. I see you in the back, the mood is right. If I just had your number, I would let you know how I feel. You walk up to me, start dancing to the music, energies like this was meant to be. Take my hand, I feel my heart beat, and I don't want this moment to stop.
So what I want to talk about briefly when it comes to cash stuffing is, how did it go in February? I will say this. Normally in January, I was very disciplined when it comes to just, writing things down and being detailed every time when I would spend, every time I would, take out money, I would write down. February, guys, it went out the window. I can tell you, the last time I wrote on my budget sheets, on my cash stuffing, my budget sheets, the small ones, these ones, the last time I wrote in all of my budget sheets was when I was putting in money to say this is how much I allocated. I never went back to actually update every time I was taking out money, every time I was spending money. However, I just made sure that I was spending what was in the envelopes. So that gave me peace, that even though I was not updating my budget sheets, even though I was not updating here as to how much I was spending, I was spending what was in the envelopes. So when the money ran out of the envelope, it was a signal that you've spent all of it. And so that gave me peace. But I will say that the whole part of updating here, it went out the window. And so it made me ask my question of how important are these? What I'm planning to do is, I'm just going to go with the flow. I will still update when I do my cash stuffing today, that how much did I put in? How much did I put in terms of deposits in each and every envelope? But then I'm also not going to go back and I'm not going to write each and every time I spend. It's very tedious. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's very tedious that every time you have spent, you have to sit down and just write. No, it's tedious. It's tedious. So, and that's just my honest opinion. Whoever is able to do it, I salute you. I'm just not that girly. But I love my cash budgeting system. I like the discipline it gives me. I like that it allows me to track my spending, even though, as I said, I don't write it down. But I see, as I'm spending, I see how much money is left, and then when it runs out, I see that, okay, I've spent all of this. If I do get time to sit down and update my sheets, I will do it. But for now, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. So let me just tell you the time now. It is 13:54. Basically, it's 2 o'clock. I don't know if you won't be able to see that, but it is 13:55 according to my phone. My watch is behind. 13:55. I worked through my lunch because, guys, the amount of emails that we get, the amount of queries that we deal with, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So I had to work through my lunch just to make sure that I push, so that when I stop and eat, because I know that once I eat, I get fatigued. So before I actually eat, I wanted to make sure that I actually finish working. I'm not done working, but I push majority of my work, you know, and then film this part during my lunchtime, and then I can get back to work. And then at 3:30 I knock off, I go back, go home. Chances are when I get home, I'll be just too exhausted for me to want to do anything, especially filming related. That's why it's very hard for me to film after work when I get home. It's just hard because I get so exhausted. I figured, let me just do it here during lunch. As I said in the morning, it was either I was going to do it during my lunchtime or I was going to do it at home. So right now it is my lunchtime, so we have an hour. So my goal is to make sure that I spend 30 minutes doing this. So since it's 2 already, I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing this, 30 minutes eating, then get back to work. The first thing that we are going to do, let me also open my budget quickly, because as I said, I don't want to take too long. I don't know if we're going to need a calculator. I don't want to take too long doing this thing because I only have 30 minutes and I have to respect my employer's time. An hour and lunchtime is my time, but if I then take longer than that, then I'm infringing on my employer's time, which is wrong. Okay, so we're going to take out first the cash. Let's take out all the cash. So I wanted to withdraw in the morning. I wanted to withdraw 5,300 because that's how much I needed, and then the ATM could only give me 5,000, and I only got the note of 100 rands, which is fine, better than getting notes of 200 rands. So I do not have my weekly allocation for what is this, for week 1 and week 2, because they're at home. I forgot to actually change them in the morning, but for now we're just going to use this one and week 3, and then when I get home I'm going to change. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take away these budget sheets, because I want to make sure that I put them in the right places. I think also the thing that we can do as well is to take out the receipts. So let's just take them out. And we're also going to take out whatever cash that is in here, because we are starting a new month now. So I was left with 30 rands under the bars. So the money that is left over is 52 rands 50. So that's the money that's going to go into the December fund. So we are just going to get into it, guys. As I said, I've got 5,000 here. And for week 1, according to my budget, I'm looking at my budget here, we're going to start with week 1.
What if we could stop the pain from hurting? What if we knew that love could mend the spirit, broken into reverse a broken feeling? Just say I do, and I will follow wherever you may go. I know it's so uncertain, but I'm tired of hurting now. All my tears and searching, gonna open up my curtains now, 'cause I don't wanna miss out. Take me on a big adventure, baby. If we stay together, we could stay young forever. Where would you go if you could time travel? Take me on a big adventure, baby. If we stay together,
I'm done with my payday routine. I'm also done stuffing my cash envelope, so I'm just gonna officially close this video now, because let me see, we did well with time. I spent 16 minutes doing this video. I spent 16 minutes doing this small part of the video, so we did well with time. So I can now close this off and actually go have my lunch, then get back to work. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that inspired you to also just get working on your monthly routine and on your payday routine, and also get working on just being more intentional when it comes to your spending, especially if you want to see some changes and if you want to see, you know, growth when it comes to the way that you manage and spend your money. I hope that this video is that inspiration. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.